Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified Doctor of Naturopathy, Dr. Stephen Cabral, shares with you exactly how you can reverse aging, take back your health, and live a life full of energy and passion, with new 20-minute episodes every single day to keep you healthy and engaged. Now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everybody. Great to have you back here today on our second Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. Let's get right into today's show. Every single weekend, I answer at least 5 to 6 questions each day, so about 10 to 12 for the weekend of our community. So people that write in at stephencabral.com/askcabral. But I just want to share with you, because my team left a note for me as I'm opening up the amazing document that they curate all of these emails from, that many of these are already previous house calls and podcasts, and you can find that answer at stephencabral.com/podcasts. Little search box, just a scroll down or so. You can type in a key phrase or keyword, and you may be able to find your answer that same day. And then if not, go ahead, feel free to ask right at cabralsupportgroup.com, and the amazing Michelle or Daniel, someone from the team, may be able to find your answer for you. Now, if you still can't, definitely write in to Ask Cabral, because I'd love to be able to answer our community's questions. Just know that it takes about somewhere between 8 and 12 weeks, 8 and 13 weeks. It really just depends on how many questions are in the queue ahead of you. So without further ado, without me giving a longer intro, let's get right into your wellness, weight loss, weight gain, and anti-aging based questions. Okay. So this is episode 2858. If you want to follow along, all the questions are at stephencabral.com/2858. All right. Julie is up first. It says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I looked into past podcast episodes and couldn't find the information I was looking for. What is your opinion on IV iron infusions using ferric carboxymaltose? My iron and ferritin levels have been low for years, and my doctor recommended it to me. Thank you." Okay. So believe it or not, this is actually a previous house call podcast. It's definitely written in, but totally understand. Like sometimes you just can't find it. I get it. You could still write in, but at the same time, I just want to let you know, I'm always happy to answer the questions. Please write in, even if it's already been talked about before. I like to get people the answer as quickly as possible. That's all. That's the only reason I say that. Okay. So IV infusions through iron, not my favorite way. Here's why. Now, sometimes necessary evil. Why would I say it's an evil? Well, when you infuse iron, you're infusing it at a very high dose. So what does that mean? Well, it means any iron that is not actively utilized, because it usually raises blood iron levels, let's say hemoglobin, etc., in about 2 to 3 weeks. So after an iron infusion, they wouldn't necessarily test you the next day. They would test you in like 3 weeks or so to see if it improved any signs of anemia. They might look at ferritin, transferritin, total iron binding capacity. They might look at what iron saturation rate. Then they might look at your complete blood count, hemoglobin, hematocrit, and others. So all of this, is interesting, and it's not that it can't work, because it can, and it often does, and that's why they continue to do it. The problem is the unused iron, or iron that isn't necessarily inside of the cell, can be a massive free radical and create a lot of oxidative stress in the body. So the question then becomes, how do you know how much iron to use? And they don't always know the right amount, like total amount of iron to use and how much the body is going to uptake, because iron, of course, usually you need some cofactors with it, which is why sometimes the people are anemic in the first place. So you typically want to look at B9, which is folate, B12, you want to look at copper, you want to look at vitamin C. I would look at zinc as well, calcium, magnesium, and those are the main ones. And so I like to use it through a natural form of iron. You can find the one that we use at stephencabral.com/shop, but it's not even the Equalife brand. It's another brand, but you're welcome to also pick up a good iron-based supplement. But remember, you want the cofactors with it too. Now, all of the cofactors will be contained within daily nutritional support. So you can simply take your iron with your daily nutritional support and eat a good balanced diet. Now, if it's still not working, you also want to look at why else might iron be low. This is called microscopic intestinal bleeding. If there's inflammation in the gastrointestinal tract, it's worth talking about with your GI specialist. And then, yes, you always do have iron infusions at your disposal. And by all means, I can't give you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, and medical diagnosis. So you'd want to speak to your medical doctor about that. And again, if you've tried everything and your iron's still not going up, okay, then yes, an infusion would obviously be there for you. All right, Lara is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I hope you and your family are doing well. My question is about seasoning the cast iron pan. We found lots of videos on how to do it. They differ, but in all, I guess, you need to bake the oil in many times in the oven. But which oil to use? Some say flaxseed because of its polymerisation properties. Others say, of course, not flax because it becomes toxic when heated. Some say olive oil, others strongly against it. So we need your opinion. You are our favorite source of information. How would you do it? And please don't say lard because I'm plant-based. If you could explain the whole procedure, that would be best. That would be a bonus. Thank you so much. Have a great day there. All right. So yes, I wouldn't say that I'm the cast iron seasoning expert. I definitely, or aficionado. I would not say that. However, I've seasoned cast oil pans, and I actually have a cast oil grill, believe it or not, a grill top for the summertime. So how did I do it? Well, I've done it two ways. One is I've done it with coconut oil before. Coconut oil, high smoke point. It's still plant-based if you want to go plant-based, and a great overall oil, for seasoning. However, my latest grill top, I used olive oil. And so I didn't use the best quality olive oil like I sometimes buy. I still just bought a organic cold pressed, etc. But I didn't buy the most expensive one, of course, just to season the pan. So it does. I probably seasoned that pan like 4 to 6 times to really get it going. So now again, I'm not an expert at this. Someone I would love in the comments below, especially if you're watching this on YouTube, well, of course, subscribe to our growing YouTube-based channel. We would love to have you over there. But also what I want to share with you in the comments, leave your suggestions, leave your help. Let's keep things positive and just share how would you do it. So we kept it really simple. So what we did was we cleaned the surface first, and then we would season it with a little extra oil. And then we would heat it on really, really low and just allow that oil to start to heat up a little bit and start to seep in. And then we would wipe off the excess, okay, so that there wasn't a lot of burning there. And then we would repeat that process, well, like 3, 4, 5 or so times. And then after that, we clean the surface. Depending on how the cast iron was getting dry or maybe a little rust started to show, we would always do just a thin coat of that olive oil afterwards to then keep that pan basically nice and seasoned and more moist. So if you're not plant-based, you can certainly use ghee. You could use lard. You probably use tallow. I don't know anybody who's used tallow, but you probably could. So those would be other ways as well. All right. So hopefully that helps. And I did use olive oil. So I think that would be perfectly acceptable, especially given the fact that it's a very high antioxidant oil and it protects against that oxidation. Okay. Anonymous is up next. Hello, I have a question about EMFs in the bedroom. We live in a house with different flats. The main Wi-Fi router is in the staircase underneath our bedroom, and it's for all tenants. We also have a built-in fridge on the other side of the bedroom wall. How can we protect our bedroom from EMFs? Also, there's a cupboard for food storage touching the fridge from the side. Is that also bad for the food that's inside the cupboard? Thank you. Yeah, so I would say yes on all fronts, like literally yes. So what do we do? Okay, well, we can still protect against this. So let's start with the Wi-Fi under the staircase. So the best way that you can help then to protect, because you can't get to the staircase necessarily, is you would use a Faraday sheet essentially to put at least under your mattress. If not, you could put it under the bed on the floor. I don't know what kind of bed you have. Some beds go all the way down to the floor, right? So you can just put the Faraday blanket under there. If not, you can literally use it as a sheet under your mattress, not as your main sheet, but you could do it under the mattress pad if you wanted to, or just literally below the mattress. So what that does is it's actually fairly straightforward. A Faraday sheet or blanket, there's no mystery. They've been using this in the military for a long time, blocking signals. It just contains silver thread, or it contains copper. That's another one that they use. And so the signals just get locked into the metal there. They just kind of block off there. So that's one. I typically wouldn't sleep on it. I would put it under the actual mattress or under like on the floor. So that's how I would first handle that. And then I would check the EMFs and radiation, on the mattress where you're sleeping. And then after you put down the Faraday sheet, maybe you're not getting any exposure, but it's a wise idea. It's a good idea to do that. Okay. Let's tackle the fridge against the The fridge against the bedroom wall. Well, it really depends on if it's against your bed of the bedroom wall. If it's not against your bedroom wall, not as big a deal. But you're really talking about not about EMFs from a fridge, but you're talking about electrical radiation, okay? So in that case, well, what can we do? We can, if we want, on the side of the fridge in the other room, we could put, a metal plate, or we could put something to block that radiation from coming into the bedroom. You could do that. Usually, if you've got 6 inches minimum, pretty good. But if you can get 1 foot to 3 feet away from the bed, fantastic. Okay. The next one, there was food storage touching the fridge touching the food storage. Okay. Same thing. Between the food storage and the fridge, you can put something to help block that radiation. It could be insulation of some type. It could be, a metal plate may do it. They make, I think Save Sleep makes a couple different laptop-based pads there that will block radiation, but not a large one. I definitely know that you could find this. So you just put like radiation blocking sheet or radiation blocking shield into Amazon, and you'd be able to find one that would help with the radiation from the refrigerator against the food. Now, the biggest thing that you want to worry about with the fridge is actually the electrical unit in the back. So if it's just the side touching or front, there's not going to be a lot of radiation. It's mainly where the plugs and the electricity goes in. All right, that's the part that you really need to block. And I actually did a podcast not too long ago on Faraday tape that worked pretty well as well. All right, so hopefully that's helpful. Let's see, Kelsey is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thanks for all you do. I get Colonics and just wanted to get your opinion on the frequency. Is that okay or safe to do? Oh, you get Colonics monthly. Got it, Kelsey. Okay. So I typically recommend 3 to 6 Colonics over a 3 to 6 week period, and then not getting them all the time. And the reason why I like 3 to 6 colonics in the beginning for anybody that's had gastrointestinal issues is a colonic, it's actually called colon hydrotherapy. So I like more of the gravitation-based ones or the more gentler ones. I like where the human does it, not just kind of sitting in a room with like a gentle trickle. I actually like the ones that are more fed, and you have a seasoned practitioner that's doing colonic-based massage and helping to get rid of a lot of the built up fecal matter that's in there, especially in the different pockets of the colon, right? So why do I not recommend them ongoing? Well, first, they can tone the colon, which is a good thing because it's colon hydrotherapy. The second is that they can actually wash away a fair amount of bacteria. Now, they wash away a lot of waste as well, so I totally get it. But the only thing that I worry about sometimes is, are we washing away a lot of the good bacteria that should be there? Now, if you're someone who's prone to more bacterial buildup, first I would look at why is the peristaltic movement slow in your intestines, but I also may say, okay, well then, yeah, maybe in that case, until we solve the buildup of bacteria in the colon, a colonic may not be a bad idea. In general, I like to solve the problem and then not have to go back to that specific modality. So I'm not against it. I'm not against a colonic monthly. Like I obviously don't think it's a terrible thing to do, but typically if I want someone to get the best results possible, 3 to 6 colonics over 3 to 6 weeks, help with the colon toning, getting rid of a lot of the bacteria and other toxins that shouldn't be there. And then we move on. So that's typically how we do it with the maybe even with the CBO protocol. All right. Autumn's up next. Let's do this as our last question of the day. Autumn says, hi, Dr. Cabral. I hope you can help. Is time-restricted feeding beneficial in slowing the progression of chronic kidney disease? I and 2 of my 3 children have just recently tested positive for the non-sex-linked AI-Port syndrome. And I don't know that I'm saying that exactly correct. It could be L-Port syndrome. I already practice the intermittent fasting 16-8 protocol, but wonder if a weekly 24-hour fast may be beneficial. I've listened to your podcast on kidney health, good stuff. Most recently ran your labs, the UA and blood have come back clean for the first time since I was 12. No protein, blood, or leukocytes. That's fantastic. For the last 2 years, I've been practicing whole food nutrition, intermittent fasting, 3 days strength training, 2 days HIIT. My body's responding well. I'm curious how intermittent fasting factors in. For your information, I'm a 137-pound female, 5'7", macro intake 2,200 calories a day with a 45, 25, 30 carb, protein, fat split. All right. Oh, it sounds like you've really dialed things in. Actually, it's very impressive. So good for you. Okay. So yes, intermittent fasting, 16-8 like you're doing right now could be phenomenal. My favorite 16-8 after working with so many clients now with intermittent fasting is definitely 6 at night to 10 in the morning. All right. So I do 6 at night to 8 in the morning. I do 14 hours. This is just what works best for my body because I start to drop into lower blood sugar for my body type. But you could do 6 at night to 10 in the morning. I don't love skipping breakfast and just going right to lunch. So here's why. Because what we need to worry about with you is that there's no protein wasting. Because if you start to break down protein, that is what would be difficult for the kidneys to actually process and remove. So that would not be a good thing. All right. So I wouldn't want you to do fasted workouts most likely in the morning. So I can't give you exact medical advice, right? So no medical advice, but I'm just kind of looking at this from, I've just read 5 sentences. I'm just looking at this from the outside, looking in. Safest protocol. Okay, if we're going to do 16 hours, 6 at night to 8 in the morning, once the body starts going, or maybe there's a workout, we're going to have a breakfast first. Great. Then we might do a workout and then lunch, or lunch and then a workout. All of that's good. You're at a great weight. You have great calories per day. Everything is looking really good. So then could you do a 24-hour fast once a week? Yeah, you absolutely could, as long as it's healthy for your body. Now, on that day, you probably wouldn't do more than walking until you ate, so that there's, again, not too much protein breakdown, because that's what I'd be worried about a little bit with the chronic kidney disease. And I work with quite a bit with CKD, quite a bit. I've worked with many clients from all over the world with that. So that's what I'm looking at. Then, of course, looking at my previous podcasts on great herbs for the kidneys, on, again, I'm not giving you any medical advice, but baking soda, which is sodium bicarbonate. And those types of things I think you might be worth taking a look at. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into today's show. You're amazing. I thank you. I'll be back tomorrow on our Monday edition of the Cabral Concept. We'll be going over one of my favorite topics, mindset and inspiration. Take care, everybody.
Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues, and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my health results accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.